Updated December 4, 2017 082040. Now that we've all had some space to digest Malcolm Turnbull's decision to call a royal commission into the banking sector, let's recap what we know about how it's going to work and what it will do. How did we get here? That's a whole other story. But TLDR calls for a royal commission into the banking sector go back at least 3 years, when a Senate committee recommended a royal commission into the Commonwealth Bank financial planning scandal. Last year, more wrongdoing was uncovered at Commonwealth's insurance arm as well as the other major banks, ANZ, NAB and Westpac. Labour has argued for more than 18 months that a royal commission would make the sector stronger, but until now Malcolm Turnbull has resisted those calls. National Senator John Walker-Williams has long called for a banking royal commission, after investigating the Commonwealth Bank financial planning scandal through a Senate inquiry. Things got even more tricky for the PM last month when rumblings escalated on his own side of politics. National Senator Barry O'Sullivan drafted a bill for a commission of inquiry and 2 of his lower house colleagues threatened to cross the floor and support it. They were on the cusp of introducing the bill on the morning that the PM announced a royal commission. Finally, the Big Four banks themselves wrote to Treasurer Scott Morrison saying they finally agreed some sort of inquiry was necessary. And so, the PM begrudgingly announced a royal commission. What is a royal commission again? Royal commissions are public inquiries governed by an act of Parliament. They can be called on any matter connected with the peace, order and good government of the Commonwealth or any public purpose or any power of the Commonwealth. What can a royal commission actually do? The Royal Commission will investigate misconduct in the financial services sector. So things like banks giving out dodgy financial advice, questionable spending of people's retirement savings, and other behavior that generally falls below community standards and expectations. In his announcement, the PM said it will cover the nation's banks, big and small, wealth managers, superannuation providers, insurance companies. It will be a comprehensive inquiry. It has the power to summon witnesses and take evidence. It can authorize police to apply for search warrants. Witnesses who fail to appear can face arrest and detention. It doesn't have the power to order compensation be paid to any of the consumers who were affected by the wrongdoings of any of the banks. But it can make recommendations for the government to consider. Those could include changing laws and regulations that govern the banking sector. It won't be able to change cases that have been heard before courts, including bankruptcy hearings. So who pays for it? That EBU. Royal commissions are paid for by the government, so essentially, taxpayers foot the bill. And the price tag $75 million for a start. Analyst Brian Johnson reckons the Big Four banks will spend at least $100 million each on lawyers and advisors to put forward their case to the Royal Commission. Who's going to be in charge? The government has appointed former High Court Judge Kenneth Hayne to run the Royal Commission. He spent more than 17 years on the bench at the nation's top court and several years before that as a judge of the Victorian Supreme Court. Crossbench MP Bob Katter had suggested social justice campaigner Tim Costello as a potential candidate. He says HES spoken to Mr. Costello, but it clearly wasn't Mr. Katter's call. And when does this thing start? We don't have an exact date, but it will be early next year. The Royal Commission will have 12 months to complete its inquiries, with a final report expected to be delivered by February 1, 2019. Topics: Federal government and politics, banking, business, economics and finance. Australia first posted December 4, 2017 054519.